Hello everyone, my name is Carrie Broom and I am your spiritual medium. So today I wanted to do an extended video on knowing that your spirit guides and angels are around and working with them. So what I'm going to do is talk about a personal thing that happened to me last week, which normally I don't share too much personal stuff, but this was completely amazing, so I really want to share it. So every now and then I will tell my spirit guides and angels that I am ready to excel my gift to the next level. And every now and then I will ask my spirit guides and angels and loved ones that I have with me in spirit to send me a sign that I am on the right path and that we're about to go into another transition. So last Thursday evening, I was sitting in the porch and I had said to my brother, which is in spirit, Jamie, if I am on the right path and I am ready for my next transition, please send me a sign. So I went to bed that night, got up the next morning, got ready for work. I had 3 ladies coming. Now when I make my appointments, I don't ask any personal information. The less I know about the individual that is coming, the better. So I usually only ask her first name and a phone number, of course, because if I need to reschedule, I need to be able to contact them. So I had no idea where these ladies were coming from. So whenever I did their reading and after their session was over, most times, you know, people are done, they go on their way. But I had asked these ladies if they would like to have a coffee before they had to travel again. So it was at this particular time we were sitting out in my porch and we were talking, and they started asking me if I minded if they asked questions about my brother, and I said, of course not. So they had asked what his name was, so I told them his name. They had asked how old he was, so I told them how old he was. They had asked where his accident was and how he passed, so I told them. It was at that particular point that the woman said to me, she's like, oh my God, Carrie, you are not going to believe this. She had told me that the night that my brother passed away, she actually lived in the Swishaw, and that's where my brother passed. That the police officers had come to her door that night, and they had no way of getting to my brother's body. So they had asked to borrow their sleds, snowsuits, and gear, whatnot, to get to at my brother's at my brother. So I thought, wow, that's freaking amazing. So I had no idea who these ladies were. I had did a whole session with them, and then after their session I took the time to actually sit with them and talk with them, and it just shows that spirit wasn't done with them yet. Jamie wanted to thank her for being so kind as to allowing the police officers to take her sleds and go and retrieve his remains. And in the meantime, he's also letting me know that everything that I am doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and in the right phases and at the right time. So that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message for me. And I was so honored to be able to relay messages to this lovely lady for my brother. So he was at peace with being able to say thank you for the kind act that she had given to him, even after he had crossed over into spirit. So I want to teach you guys a few signs of how to know whenever your spirit guides and your angels and that your loved ones are trying to contact you and they are speaking to you. Okay, so you don't need to be a medium or a psychic or a clairvoyant or an empath to know that loved ones are trying to contact you. We all are given spirit guides. We are all given angels, and we all have spirit around us, whether we know it or not. Okay, so even if it's your great grandparents, or it could even be a neighbor down the road, we all have spirit. Any soul that we come into contact with in the physical world, that there is an emotion attached to that soul and that contact, they are part of our lives after we cross over. It's very difficult for me to explain and perhaps we'll get into that again into another video. But today I want to talk about knowing that they are around and trusting to listen and working with them, okay? So sometimes we have a lot of thoughts that go through our minds, like warnings, like you really shouldn't go to this place, or you feel like, I really don't want to do that today. And then you don't do it, and then you hear later on that something happened at that particular place or environment where you were gonna go. So those are your guides and your angels trying to protect you at this particular time. So trust that gut instinct, because it's not a gut instinct. It is your guides and your intuition working with you at that particular time. Another thing that they will do is also they will put thought into your mind. Like you'll think of a certain person over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden that person will phone you. When this is happening, we all have soul contracts here in the physical world with our spirit guides and our angels that are in heaven waiting for us to reunite with them. Now, everybody calls it the spirit world because there's so many different forms of religions and beliefs. So we'll call it the spirit world. So anyway, what's going to happen is whenever you're having these thoughts and feelings and emotions, and they're constant, these are the thoughts coming through from spirit, okay? So another thing too, which I was trying to explain to a client yesterday, is sometimes we will have thoughts in our mind that is not our normal personality, okay? So you'll have these thoughts over and over again, but this is not something that you normally would do or would say or how you would act. If this happens to you, this is also a way that spirit, your guides, or your angels are communicating with you. Okay? Another way of knowing is through signs and symbols. So we've went through this before in other videos. Butterflies, dragonflies, coins, scents, smells, feelings, emotions, things like that. But I'm talking about the more mental part of communication, and that all comes through thought. So on occasion, whenever I channel spirit, I do vocally hear them. Most of the channeling is all done through thought. It's like I just know. So it's just a thought that comes to my mind, and spirit, that's how they communicate. They communicate through thought. Every energy is different. Their personalities are very, very, very much the same as what they were when they were here in the physical world. So if you have some loved one that was very vibrant and very funny and very loud and very pushy, they're still going to come through as that same personality. So if you have someone that is really quiet, really reserved, very stand backish, doesn't have a lot to say, they will still come in that way. Okay, so it's learning really the personality of the loved ones that you are trying to connect with. And once you understand their personality and their demeanor, it's easier to communicate with them. I hope this helps, and I hope that I'm explaining it properly. Thanks again for watching, and it's just a few little tips. Take care.